Hey guys, welcome to another video. Here we are again in the shed, and we're going to be looking at these 200Rs, which are the rear handle type of the 200Ts. So basically what you see here, it's just got a rear handle configuration on it, and this is part of the videos that I've promised for quite some time now to do a 200T and a 200R. And so today we're going to look at the strip down of those and what that looks like. So basically I can get them apart, clean them. I always love to do tear down videos. I think people are interested in seeing chainsaws torn down and how they actually come apart. I think that actually helps with the process of building one, because when you take it apart you learn how things fit together pretty much, you know, how they go. So I think it's definitely an important part of the process for building chainsaws, just as much as building them is part of the process. So why am I doing a video midweek? Because New Zealand has gone into lockdown again because of COVID. Yay! So hopefully it's short and sharp, it doesn't last long, and we can get back to being good again, because New Zealand's been pretty blessed through this whole thing to have been pretty good, and we've been, while the world's in meltdown, we've been going about lives as normal for the most part, except for maybe Auckland, but yeah, anyway. So what we're doing now is we're going to get stuck into these tear downs, because I don't want to talk about COVID, because that's crap. Just tired of the negativity around all that stuff and people living in fear and panic. It's just so stupid. So without further ado, we're going to put that subject way away, and we're going to get back to the happy place of chainsaws and what we're doing. Also, you might note the new hat. I had to dig into my collection of hats, because I told you on the last video that I'd lost the same hat of this. I have it somewhere. It's an older one that I like to wear while I'm doing this, you know, and I lost it. I don't know where it's gone, and it's really ticking me off, because I really like the hat. So I had to dig deep into the collection and grab a new one out. So thanks to my mate who gave me this. He knows who he is. He may still watch my videos, I'm not too sure. But anyway, let's crack on. So I'm going to pretty much, you know what a 200T looks like. I don't have one that I can show the tear down on, because I haven't got it built. I've got the handle off separated. So I want to start with this 200R. It's had the flywheel stripped off it, and of course the pull start cover is gone as well. And someone's taken that out. The magneto, what's that called? Is it a magneto? I don't know. I guess the computer part of the saw, I guess. So someone's taken that out. It might have even been me diagnosing this chainsaw. The bearings feel real solid. Bearings feel real solid on this chainsaw, so I don't know why it's failed. We might find out as we dig deeper. So the bearings feel good. With these 200Ts and 200Rs, you get bearing movement going this way through the saw. So basically you can get bearing movement going that way. That's okay. You're supposed to be able to push and pull it a bit. You can hear that clicking. But it's the up and down and side to side movement. So it's movement through this axis and that axis that you don't want, you know, basically moving around there. But this one feels really solid. That noise is just the clutch drum making a noise. So I wonder if I've never actually put one of these on the chainsaw vise before. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll just grab a screwdriver. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out this tensioner, and then it can fit on there properly. So I'm just going to wind that forward till I can see the screw. That lets me relieve that. I've done no prep for this video, pretty much no prep, so it'll be one of those. But at least it's a tear down and I'm not cleaning parts in between things and stuff like that, you know. So it's all good. It's all good. Right, next T27. T27. 30. T27. Impact driver. I only use these for tear downs. Brilliant. Especially for muffler bolts. What else? Cylinder bolts, that sort of thing, especially on larger saws where they've never been apart or they've got Loctite on them. If it's really rusted or corroded or something like that, or looks funny to me, I'll put some WD-40 on there just to ease in down there. Usually this thing will just get them off, no worries. And it's not that aggressive, but I definitely don't put saws back together with this. I put saws back together by hand. I don't recommend using one of these for that. So that's just the screw that's holding in the little screw that's holding in the tensioner there. And that just goes in that little hole in there. So I'm just going to see if I can flick this tensioner out now. It's going to let me. Nope. Yeah, there it comes. It's probably never been out of here. It's loose now. Just gently lever that out of there and you can see the tensioner is out. And that's of course is the screw holds it in, which is just a T27. So that's all gone in there. Now I can chuck it on the vise. I am just going to take another screw out of the way. Oh no, that's going to hold it in there, so I won't do that. Because that'll help hold it into the chainsaw vise. And on it goes. On it goes, people. And I'll put the camera in a better position shortly, of course. Where's my scrunch? Let's tighten her up. Flippy flippy. And we're in action. Here we go. You're at the part of the video where you get to see the tear down. So 8mm. What am I going to use? What am I going to use? What's that got on? 10mm. 10mm. Might use this for this rather than my got that around the wrong way, rather than the traditional Stihl one I use. So this just takes the carby off and gets you into the carb, take it off so you can help strip this whole rear handle section off. I have rebuilt in the past, not on video, but I've rebuilt 2 of these. They're an enjoyable build, I think. Very enjoyable build. They're simple. You don't need really any complex tools or anything like that. So, I'm just going to pull it off. You can get to the videos, parts of the videos that you want to watch if you want to make some things clear for yourself. This is basically your choke lever operation here. Screwdriver. I haven't got any tools out really. Should get some tools out that I think I'll need. Like that. I think that's most of what I'll need. So you can see here, I've got a selection of torques to go in the impact driver. Got a couple of different screwdrivers. Sometimes I like to use, they're just flatheads, but I like to use them for different things. Trusty pliers, of course, and a hand operated T27 Stihl driver that you see me use all the time. Right. Right, I was just going to flip that out of there. Say right a lot. Should just flick out of there. Yep. Just released a wire. The choke mechanism. There's a little clip down on this side. Just to push that up, get that choke lever out. Choke start lever, whatever you want to call it. Carb. This has got no fuel in it. Hasn't for a long time. So I just push the fuel line off from the top with the screwdriver. I'm just going to do this, guys. I'll talk through what I feel like talking through, really. This rubber thing can come off. And hopefully we can just, release that throttle and your carby's off. So that's done. A couple of things that hold the intake boot on, little rings and things, wires. Can't remember how they come out. Intake boots there, so I can basically flip this here and get the rest of the parts off, rest of the handle off for the most part, I think. Yep, and I think that one there, that is a smaller one, T25 I think, or T20. It's a T20. It's right down in there. That just goes on the back of the saw. All done. I think it's a capture, like these other two that these other two's are captured. I've just released off there. And you just push the, I've got to release the other side of the handle off. Oh, it's not a capture because it just flipping fell out. I think it's supposed to be a capture. And the other one falls out too. Oh no, they're not captures, they're just shaped funny, so they go into the mounts, the AV mounts. T27. Put down in here. Right. I think relieved. You've just got to push the AV, the intake boot down in there, and the fuel line has to go down as well. The wires are still attached. That all comes off there. The wires are still attached, and there's another screw. And they just whip out, I think. Okay. Oh no, they don't. Now, interesting enough, I've just noticed the starter wire, not the earth, is not plugged in at all. So that the bearings feel good on the saw, but this might have been scrapped because they got a bunch of new saws. This might have been scrapped simply because this wasn't contacting, wasn't starting, and they didn't want to spend time and money on fixing it. So that's just the way that game goes. Bonus though, because I get sore. Off. So you can see that that's just the rear handle attachment that they put on there. It swaps in and out to, if you wanted to, you could continuously swap the top handle section with this rear handle section to do whatever you want, you know, if you really had the time and patience to do all that. Because they are just a straight swap. This is a 200T basically, or a 200R in this case. As I showed you previously, I think, see, this is the pull start cover for it, and it's got MS200. I call them an MS200R because they're a rear handle. That's how I sort of identify them, but they're just a standard MS200. They got no T on them, so no top handle. That's all that means. And for the, I think I showed you this one before as well, but this is an older pull start cover, and from a 200T or an 020T, I think, something like that. And yeah, that's what we're going to use because I don't have a 200T side cover, so that's going to fit nicely with that. I quite like having that made in Germany on the side of my saws like that. I think it's a bit more traditionally still because it's a German saw, of course. Right, so the intake boots are just held in by a plastic cover here that crimps on around them, and that can just be levered off. As long as you don't poke the screwdriver in too far. This one's just, there we go, that popped off. Because you don't want to wreck the boot. There we go. This one's a particularly stiff one. Normally they just pop off quite easy. It's a sign it's probably never been off in its whole entire life. And there you go. That's all that holds the intake boot on. No clips or screws or anything like that. I want a bigger screwdriver. Oh, where's my bigger screw? Did I put it down here somewhere? No, it's here. So, yeah, you can just pull off the intake, and that's off. Your fuel line here, and that's your impulse line coming in there from the cylinder. Where to from here? You can take these AB mounts off. It's not really necessary. This one is, and once you get your, need to take your case apart, because that's part of the case, that front AV mount. This one, that can just be left down there unless you want to take it off for cleaning purposes. So yeah, as you can see, so I'm probably going to have to take that this side off now, which is the clutch side of the saw. That'll just rattle off. That's a 13mm. I do have the air run up, the compressor may fire, so apologies for the noise. Left-hand thread, guys. Love that thing. So make sure if you do use a rattle gun that you have got it left. That clutch is in mint condition. It's really nice. Halfway through its life, maybe, clutch drum. Tell by the indentations on the spur there. Needle gauge. I think you can flick the worm gear driver out now. I think. Should be able to. Yep. That's the driver for the worm gear. The spur sprocket fits into there on the clutch and drives it. So if you're T27s, or sorry, your T27, if your saw's not oiling properly, have a look at this, it may be stripped. Right, what do we do next? We'll take off this covering, I think. It's T27s for that. Get rid of the chain catcher, which releases some of the dogs. Get that off too, take the dogs off. See if we can get these covers off now without having to take it off the vise. So those covers just come off, they split into two, gone. And then you got the oiler. I haven't actually checked how much oil this has got in it. That's something I should do before I split the cases. It's got absolutely nothing in there, which is great. So no bar oil in there, always check that, because that can be a messy when you take the cases apart and just covers everything. So what next, Okay, we'll take the plastic shell off the back of this now. So there's, to get this whole plastic in, because this is all plastic, there's two screws on the top. Go on. They're in there. Then flip your chainsaw vise around. And there's two screws up here. That should just slide off. It slides off away from the muffler side. But it's got the, hang on, turn it up the other way again. It's got the impulse line in, so you need to push that through to get that out of there. Those impulse lines always have a spring inside them too to stop them from crimping. Mucky. So that's how you get that off. That just needs to be cleaned now. You can take these bits off. There's a cover in here that can slide out like that. I think that's some kind of heat shielding plastic, because that's the top of the cylinder that sits there, so it must be some kind of heat proofing shielding plastic. It's also got heat proofing down here as well with a reflective surface. But basically that's fuel tank, and yeah, not much to it really. It's got the ventilation cap on here, fuel tank. Yeah, too easy. So I'm just going to set that aside. Spark plug, of course. So you can just whip that off. That was already loose, that spark plug. Don't know why. I'm just going to further, at this point, I'm just going to further test that. So these bearings in here seem really, really good. There's no movement in them in the wrong directions. You've definitely got that side to side slop. I don't know if you can see that moving or hear that noise, but that side to side slop in the bearings there, that is fine. That is common and typical in the way it should be. So that's all off on that side. So basically we can take the muffler off now. The muffler has 2 screws down inside here. Alright. So I'm just going to take them off. Yeah. See what I mean? Muffler bolts. And those screws didn't strip anything, they just came out nice. Yep, nothing broken, nothing stripped. Beautifulness. And that's why I use an impact driver. See, that's one. They have a washer on these ones as well, and the other washer's stuck inside there, so I'll get that out of there to make sure it stays back in there, because I'll clean this muffler up as well, because it can look a lot better than that. I'm not having dirty saws, not in my workshop. So, although sometimes I do when I don't clean them, but not when I'm putting them back together, not when I'm building. Right. The next part of the process is to strip the the cylinder off and out. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking down that port now, on the muffler port, and that cylinder looks flippin' beautiful. It looks incredible. It looks like a newborn. I love it. So, I think so far, I value the 200T, because I'd like to climb with one, my own one, more than a good proper working 200R. So any of the good parts that I've got, I think I've got 4 of these. So any of the good parts are going to be going into the 200T model. Like if there's something I have to make work, then it will go in there. But hopefully from 4 saws I can definitely build 2. That seems reasonable, hopefully. I'm not 100% sure if I've got all the parts for the 200T yet, and that just means the top handle section of it. No, I've got at least half the parts there, so there's some stuff I may have to order. But anyway, carry on. But yeah, I value the 200T more. actually get more money for it if I sold it as well. It's arborist. These are still, these 200Ts, I tell you what, they are still sought after in the arb world. They are still sought after. They are wanted. Why? Because they're better than current models. They run harder, they do the business. Okay. Too much gunk in there. Just clean that out. Cleaned out, blow it out. So I don't strip the top of the screw. There we go. It's good to have a pick handy for those sort of things. Just clean out the tops of screws and stuff like that. Or this, even though it's sharp, if you're careful, is good for reaching in and hooking out fuel lines as well. I've often thought about blunting that end just to do that. And there we go. See the gasket on the bottom. I'm just going to have a look inside there. It's not got enough light in here. Don't know how well you guys can see that, but a little bit of wear in there. A little bit of wear. I'll just check that cylinder, that piston now. A bit of rubbing on the skirts. You have to clean that head up. The muffler side. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. If I find a better piston than that, I'll probably change it out. See what some of these other 200 cylinders look like. Yeah, we're getting down to the meat of it now. I mean, that cylinder, don't get me wrong, that cylinder and piston will run. Just for how much longer, that's what begs, really. But to be honest, at the same time, I don't really care because I've got 4. I'm pretty sure all of the pistons and cylinders are pretty good on them. So I'll just build another one. Like, because that's what I do, you know. It's like I was saying to a guy the other week, I was over for dinner and I said, oh, because he wants a saw and everything like that, and I said, oh, you can borrow a saw if you want, you know, I've got a few of them. And he was like, oh, I hate borrowing stuff, you know, and you know, if you break it and I understand that. I totally understand that. I hate doing it too. Totally know what he means. I was just taking out the flywheel key there. But I was like, dude, just borrow a saw, man. I've got tons of them and it's not like I have to take them to the Stihl shop to fix them. It's not that, you know, it's not too much of a deal, really. So just borrow a saw. So hopefully that's put him at ease. You can just borrow a saw if you need a saw. Sometimes you just need a saw. Hey people. Right. Off comes the oiler. If you don't build a lot of saws, I recommend taking photos of where and how things go. That's what I did on my first ever saw build. And then laying out parts in sequence so that you remember how they go. I've built, I don't know how many saws now, so I just sort of know where everything goes, and sometimes I muck it up because I'm not perfect. I know, hard to believe, but not perfect. And so I just remember where the parts go. But so don't do what I do, and if you don't quite know what the go is. These have got the original ceramic seals in them. I think the original ceramic seals are good. They're a prick to put in because you have to press them in, you can't hit them in. Because you can't hit them in, press them in, you got to press them in, otherwise they crack and break, and then you can get air leaks or they just disintegrate totally. I find them a real pain in the butt to put in. Real pain in the butt. So, thanks to, what is his name, Matt? Oh, I can't remember his name now. He's a saw builder on YouTube. Matt. I'll put his channel in. I'll link his channel in the description. But if you like saw building, go check him out. Really, really knowledgeable guy. Far more knowledge than I've got. Real clever guy. He's got a picture of, I think, Optimus Prime, the Transformer, on his YouTube page. Is his like little circle header thing. I don't know why he's got that. Should ask him one day. But yeah, he said that you can use the yeah. Anyway, that was a major segue. But he said that you can use the 206. 026 or MS260 flywheel side seals on there. So the more the rubber ones and not the ceramic ones, okay? You can use them on both sides. So I've ordered those and I've used them on these 200Ts before, and I like them because I can just knock them in. I don't have to try and press them in. So heaps better, and I'll show that to you as we progress on the build side of things. So now all that's left to do is pull the case apart. And the screws are, sure there's one down here. Just clean that out with some air. Is probably going to go anytime. So that one. These are handy because they've got these little slots down the side. You can just flick out the screws with. They don't come out in the magnet. Is there another one? I've got a feeling there is somewhere. I might have to take it off the jig. It feels funny having such a small little thing on this chainsaw jig. I'll tell you what, you swing these little saws around so much to do them, to build them. You don't spend heaps of time on any one side. You're always, spinning around. So chainsaw vice wins again. Just flip these off. Oh, that's right. There's two down in here as well. So there's one there, two up the top here, and then there's two down the bottom. And also these that hold on the AV mount, they are, can you see that there? No, those two that hold on the AV mount there, they are holding the case together as well. So I'll just clear one of them. Told you that compressor was going to fire up soon. Right, whip those out. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 case bolt saw. Pretty token up here though. They do, I think they serve more purpose of holding on the AV mount than anything. That's out, that's out, that's out. Okay. Let's try and make sure that screw is fully out. Can't get it. Right, so no special tools now. This case should just pull apart. From memory, I don't think you need any special tools. I'm just tapping that gently, very gently. Unless I've forgotten one of the screws, or that one's not out properly or something. No, pretty sure that's good. Yep, that's good. I'll just check that there's not one screw down in there. Don't think there is. Oh, I know where there's one. That's right, the secret hidden one. Basically in here, and that comes out. I think there's one underneath there. Whoa! Oh, that went for a fly. Yeah. So underneath the oil transfer up to the bar there is another one. To make that an 8-case bolt screw. So yeah, that I just flicked across the room, it's okay, it hit the door, I know where it is. But yeah, it's just hidden underneath there, so that is why it didn't come apart. It should now. I don't think there'll be anything. Yep, see, it's just split. Alright, and I'm just doing it with my hands. Shouldn't be anything to stop it now. It's just done with a blunt object, so no real pressure there. It's just to get it moving because it hasn't been ever moving. Okay. Just so I don't hurt the coatings in there, and then these just all come apart. piston in there. That is a nice gasket there. I'm not buying new gaskets for it, although I might have some floating around. So I'm going to try and preserve this, but it shouldn't be too hard, it's easy. Also, you have to take off the come on. There we go. You have to take off that. And that little thing's off the spark plug thing, because it actually goes right through the case out the other side, so if you want to get the cases fully apart. Yeah. Oh, that's right, I think you do have to press the bearings out. But to be honest, I'm not going to touch those bearings in there because they're flipping fantastic. I will get some out to show you them though, because they are fairly interesting sort of bearings, but you can see that they're like a roller, little rollers in there, rather than a flat round bearing. And they've got a plastic ring on the other side there that sits in there and holds them together, and then they've got no outer, they've got no sort of inner bearing race there, so the actual race is the edge of the crank itself that holds them in there. Windy, rainy day today. Now I can take that gasket off. I want to lie that flat, nice and flat. Just go down there. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to leave those bearings in there. I'm not going to press them out. There's no need for me to take those bearings out, so I'm just not going to. Definitely I'll show you on the other side. You can see the oil click up there, the oiler. But yeah, that's one half the case that I'll clean up. And yeah, you can pull the magneto through now. Even that side of the wire has been pulled off. See, all that wire is just not attached properly to anything, so I don't know who fiddled with this, but basically I think the saw was scrapped because it didn't have the connections going right. See, that's supposed to have like a little thingy on the end of there, so it attaches properly onto the magneto, and it didn't. And the earth wire was missing as well off this saw, so that also runs with this wire back down to the magneto. So maybe that's why the saw was scrapped. I don't know. Everything else looks pretty good on it. Go figure. Go figure. I don't know what happens with half these saws sometimes. So, as you can see, that is how to strip down a 200R200T. The only difference with the 200T is you're just taking the top handle assembly apart. Now, if you are taking apart a top handle assembly and it's your first time, do it slowly. Slowly ease one side of the cover off. Alright, you'll have to get the little start mechanism and pull that off, and then you'll have to slowly take apart one side, and then after that take a photo, because all the throttle linkages in there, they sit in certain positions, and trust me, I learned this from experience. If you take it apart and just go pull it all apart, you will spend hours trying to figure out how it goes back together, especially if you're not clever like me. Some of you smarter people might just figure it out straight away. It wasn't the case for me. I had to go through painful learnings with that, so I'm trying to, if there's anyone out there like me who's not the cleverest, sharpest tool in the shed, I'm trying to save you hours of pain here, take a photo of what it looks like so you can put all the throttle linkages back together and get the choke mechanism and the throttle levers all working properly. That is for the 200T, okay, the top handle section. The R section is just a typical rear handle setup in here. I think, except this comes apart on the side. I don't think I've ever taken apart one of these, but yeah, that is all that is. So, once I've cleaned up the parts and sorted myself out, we'll start on this 200T project, but it was great to have you along for the teardown. If there's any questions you've got, please comment them, and I'll put that Mac guy's channel in the link, the name of his channel. Most of you probably watch him anyway. If you're watching Saw videos, you watch him. He does all sorts of port work and things like that. So he's a pretty onto it dude. Yeah, pretty onto it. But that's about it for this one. So we'll catch you on the next one, where we'll hopefully do this 200T build. If it's not the 200T and I've got to wait for parts for the handle section of the 200T, then we'll do a 200R, or just the MS200 as they call it. So yeah, too easy. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Still for life, and we'll catch you on the next one.